The essential question for today's lesson is, how do I find the slope of a line? Let's think about slope in just everyday English. And when we talk about the slope of a road, we're talking about how it slants. It slants down, it slants up, maybe it's really steep and it's hard for your car to get up it, or maybe it's a nice gentle slope that's easy to walk up. The slope of a non-vertical line is the number of units the line rises or falls for each unit of horizontal change from left to right. And our symbol for slope is a lowercase m. M actually comes from the French word modulus. The mathematician that developed a lot of the equations dealing with lines was French. And so we kept the m as the symbol that was used in his language. A rate of change compares two different quantities that are changing think a slope word problem. Whenever you see rate of change, you're going to use the slope formula. They're just going to give you the information in word problem format instead of just giving you a graph or giving you ordered pairs. So there are three main ways for us to find slope. The first one is if we're given a coordinate plane, we use slope equals rise over run. Another way to find slope is to talk about the change in y over the change in x. This method is not as common in Algebra 1. The third way we find slope is to use ordered pairs. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. The two you're going to see the most this year, rise over run, when we have a coordinate plane, and the ordered pair formula. In fact, you need to memorize both of these. Now, slopes can be positive, negative, zero, or undefined. A line with a positive slope rises from left to right. It goes up as you go across the line. A line with a negative slope falls from left to right. Some people like to say that it rises to the left. Either way, a line with no slope or zero slope, I'm actually going to write in zero, is a horizontal line. And a line with undefined slope is a vertical line. Okay, so now remembering vertical and horizontal. Zero, there's actually a zero, two of them in the word horizontal. U and V are side by side in the English alphabet. So undefined goes with vertical, and horizontal has two O's or two zeros in it, so horizontal lines have zero slope. So how do you find slope on a graph? And you are going to need a question here. And actually, let me back up and say you're going to need one here and here. On a graph, draw a right triangle from one point on the line to another. Make sure you pick integral points Now, integral is a great mathematics vocabulary word that will show up on the SOL. Integral sounds like integer, and that's exactly what we mean. No decimals, no fractions, pick integers. I used to always call them pretty points, and then the word integral started showing up on the SOL, so now I try to use that word more often. So as I'm looking right here at negative 6, 1 is a nice perfect point where the line is crossing the grid exactly on the little grid plus. Nope, nope, oh, here's another place where it crosses exactly on the little plus. So I want to follow the grid in order to draw in a right triangle. Slope on a grid is rise over run. So I have to count the spaces. I'm going up 1, that's my rise. I'm going over 3, that's my run. And this is going up to the right, so it's positive. My slope is 1/3. Slope has to be a fraction or a whole number. It's never a decimal. Let's look at another one. Oh, I like this point right here. This is also the y-intercept. And it looks like the x-intercept is a good point also. So I'm going to follow my grid, connecting in a right triangle. Slope equals rise over run. So I need to count the spaces going up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Over. Count the spaces going across. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this line is coming down, so it's going to be negative. And negative 4 over 4 is negative 1. You do have to simplify your fractions. Let's try another one. I like the origin. It's a nice integral point. No, no, there's another good one. Connect in a right triangle. Slope equals rise over run. I'm going to count the spaces. 1, 2 up. 1, 2, 3 over. My line is going up to the right, so it's positive, and I can't simplify that fraction, so I'm done. Last one on a graph. I like my y-intercept here at 0, 6. And, ooh, I like this point, 5, 4. Connect in a right triangle. Slope equals rise over run. So I'm counting my spaces. I go up 2. Count my spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This line is coming down to the right, so it's negative. I can't simplify that fraction, so I am done. The other way we find slope is using our formula for ordered pairs. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now what I recommend you do, because they almost always give you the ordered pair side by side, is copy them underneath. Because you have to go in order. Slope equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Here are my y's. And I'm just going to do negative 3 minus 2, top to bottom, divided by. I have my x's, go top to bottom, negative 2 minus 1. So that's negative 5 over negative 3. And that simplifies to positive 5/3. If you write them on top of each other like this, and always substitute top to bottom, you won't get the numbers mixed up. If you substitute incorrectly, if you start with negative 3 on the top, but you start with the 1 on the bottom, you're going to get the wrong answer. So let's look at the next one. I'm going to write the ordered pair underneath. and I'm going to write my formula. Slope equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now, my y values. -3 minus -3 divided by -2 minus 4. Let's see, -3 minus -3 is 0 over -6. Type that into your calculator. Oh, I need to move the report here. Okay, 0 divided by -6. 0. Right? If you have no cupcakes and you want to split 0 cupcakes up among 6 people, how many cupcakes does each person get? None. 0 divided by any number is 0. So now let me ask you, what kind of special line is this? Is it vertical or horizontal? Horizontal. Remember, horizontal has 2 O's in the word, like 0. Last example for today. Okay, I'm going to rewrite these ordered pairs top to bottom. And I'm going to write my slope formula. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now, I'm going to circle my y's. -4 minus -2 divided by -1 minus -1. Well, let's see. -4 plus 2 is -2. And -1 minus 1 is 0. If I have 2 cupcakes and I want to put them in 0 groups, how many groups do I have? Error, divide by 0. You cannot divide by 0 mathematically. I can't take 2 cupcakes and put them in no groups. Even if I leave my 2 cupcakes alone, I have 1 group with 2 cupcakes in it. Okay, so we can't divide by 0 mathematically. This is the situation where M is undefined. And simply by checking on your graphing calculator, you can be sure you get the correct answer. Now, is undefined the vertical or the horizontal? And if you remember, I told you U, V are side by side in the alphabet. So this is a vertical line. All right, you need to write about 4 questions in a summary.